Right, good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to start with the last chapter of our spirit study, and it's about these examples of inner transformation. So they have a selection of some very influential people that had transformed their lives, and yeah, they want to share that with us. So we're going to start with Paul, the Tarsus of Saul of Tarsus. His stories are told in detail by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier in the book Paul and Stephen. It's an awesome book. I recommend everyone to read it if you didn't already. It's a book that opened a lot of discussions and a lot of in-depth connection and knowledge about his life before and after his transformation. So Saul, having risen from relative obscurity in the first century of Christianity to worldwide recognition as a modern international figure, no one aside from Jesus Christ himself had been so influential. Saul of Tarsus first appeared in the biblical record as a witness to the stoning of Stephen, the first martyr to the cause of Christ. So he didn't have much history in the Bible itself before that. So he just started to appear after this or during the stoning of Stephen and a little bit before that. So his persecution against the Christians was relentless, though he thought he was fulfilling the will of Jehovah. He was against what they represented, what the Christians represented at the time, which was like changing and let's say the questioning of the religion or the circumstances that he already followed. So that way he felt a little bit threatened by it, and that's why he started to persecute them. So Divaldo Franco said that after exhaustive deliberation, he concluded that Paul was a spirit of strong and ambitious personality who sought to be faithful to the law of Moses. He just was a little bit extreme on it. He didn't, in the beginning, Saul, he didn't try to understand the other side. He just followed the law to the letter and went to extreme lengths to get that done. So Saul experienced the courage and love displayed by Jesus' disciples in facing their death and was deeply and unexpectedly touched by it. But he was prideful and resisted it. So he saw that the faith that the disciples of Jesus had was something that he never experienced before, and he started to be afraid of that. And that's why he started to persecute more and go after the disciples of Christ. And that's why he went to Damascus, because he knew of some important disciples of Jesus at the time that were living there. So he wanted to capture them. So in the voyage from to Damascus, he had the encounter with Jesus where he was blinded, and then the whole story came after that. So we can see that Saul was ambitious and prideful and tried to follow the law to the letter, but yeah, he used it in the wrong extreme way. Then we have Lord George Lyttelton in the 1700s. So he believed that he could establish Paul's radical transformation. It was grounded in the base motives of self-interest. So he thought that Saul just transformed into Paul just because he thought it was the best solution at the moment, because Christianity was rising very rapidly, and he wanted to join that. But after careful and thoroughly researching the matter in a thoroughly scholarly fashion, he reversed his skeptical view, having concluded that Paul's conversion was genuine. In 1747, he published, Lord Lyttelton published his book, Observations on the Conversion of St. Paul. So a little bit of takes from that book. was that the apostle was not an impostor who deliberately advocated which he knew to be false. Indeed, why would he suffer so much persecution for what he knew to be alive? Especially in the Bible itself and in the Paul and Stephen, it shows all the turbulence and the challenge that Paul faced after he turned to Christianity. And yeah, so that why would he do all that just to prove, or just as a lie? He was not an enthusiast who was given to an overheated imagination. He was a disciplined, logical scholar of the first magnitude. And he was not deceived by the fraud of others, for he claimed his rugged independence. So Divaldo Franco made some commentary as well in regards of the conversion of Saul. He said that he was more like an acceptance of something that Paul inwardly feared, and which would wound up at but he was afraid to let it out. Goes in search of himself and returns to the Any comments on Paul and Saul?
It's really a good book, a really, really, really good book. If you had a chance to read it, I've been in Spiritism for 17 years now, but I can say like it was a eye-opening. Is that how you say?
Yeah, eye-opener.
Eye-opener for me after read the Paul and Stephen's book. It's a really takes you to think about your actions, like the pain, like the transformation, everything that involves like the improve yourself like from inside out. So yeah.
Thanks, I. So the next one that we're going to talk about is Mary Magdalene, or Mary of Magdala. So Mary Magdalene or Mary of Magdala was one of Jesus' most celebrated disciples. She is famous because according to the Gospel of Mark and John, she was the first person to see Jesus after he rose from the dead. Since the late lost connection. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, you keep freezing up there, Alex.
It's for me too. Keeps freezing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me try. All right. Let me know if it keeps freezing. So he combined the actions of 3 women mentioned in the New Testament and also identified an unnamed woman as Mary Magdalene. So in 1969, the Vatican implicitly rejected it by separating Luke's sinful woman, Mary of Bethany, and Mary Magdalene via the Roman Missal. I'm sorry I didn't look into it, but yeah, as far as I could get was that so Pope Gregory thought that those 3 women were the same person, but yeah, afterwards they verified that they were 3 distinct women, 3 distinct women, and yeah, that Mary Magdalene was not those persons. So Mary Magdalene was the leader of a group of women disciples who were present at the cross or the crossing of Jesus, when the male disciples, excepting the John of Beloved, had fled, and at his burial as well. Mary was a devoted follower of Jesus, entering into the close circle of those taught by Jesus during the Galilean ministry. So Emmanuel, describing Mary Magdalene, said those following things. For what deep reasons would the divine master appear firstly to Magdalene? Jesus' attitude is deeply symbolic in its divine presence, divine essence, sorry. Among the important figures of the gospel, no one has employed so much effort in trying to change oneself so as to be able to follow the Savior as did the disturbed and unforgettable Magdalene. Magdalene, however, knew intimately how difficult it was to extirpate the bitterness of wrong habits. For her, it was enough to simply meet the Christ in order to abandon everything and follow his steps. She was faithful until the very end, as evidenced by her acts of self-denial, remaining firmly resolute in taking up her own cross so that she could benefit from the redeeming Calvary in her bitter existence. So still citing Emmanuel, it is understandable that many should express curiosity as to the reason why the Master did not appear to Peter, John, his mother, or his friends. Nevertheless, it is equally reasonable for us to recognize that with his unforgettable love and compassion, Jesus confirmed that his doctrine is for all of his followers, from novice to those who have tried to live by his teachings all their lives, and is the golden code by which lives are transformed for the glory of goodness. And it may fairly be said that nobody has yet transformed his or her life in the light of the redeeming gospel as Mary of Magdalene did. Any comments on her?
No.
Can I make a contribution here? In the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran, one of the scrolls was and it has been established quite clearly that Mary also wrote a gospel. And it is clear from the contents that her connection to she was part of the disciples. She was an integral part of the disciples, not just a tag along as Jesus' girlfriend, as is so often referred. She is different from the Mary that was regarded as the prostitute. It is a different Mary, and yes, it is worth exploring the gospel itself. So beautiful and so clear in its connection to divine understanding and understanding of the Christ consciousness. Yes. So brilliant.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was on her gospel that it is implied that she was Jesus' partner.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was that.
Also called Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Like, anyways, that's a topic for another night.
Yeah. The next one will be Augustine of Hippo. So Augustine of Hippo was a bishop of Hippo Regius. He was a Latin speaker, philosopher, and theologian who lived in Roman Northern Africa. His writings were very influential in the development of Western Christianity. In the Catholic Church and in the Anglican Communion, he is a saint and preeminent doctor of the Church. As a youth, Augustine lived a hedonistic lifestyle, seeking satisfaction in many areas: philosophical theories, sexual exploits, rhetorical disputations. He developed an affair with a young woman in Carthage. She was in his love, She was his lover for over 13 years and gave birth to his son, Deodatus. So at age 30, Augustine had won the most highly prized academic chair in the Latin world. So he was very accomplished, but I think that all didn't matter much in the end because, yeah, he also had his transformation. In the summer of 386, after having read an account of the life of Saint Anthony of the Desert, Augustine underwent a profound personal crisis, which led him to convert to Christianity, abandon his career in rhetoric, quit his teaching's position, and devote himself entirely to serving God and to the practice of priesthood, which included celibacy. So key to his conversion was a childlike voice that he heard singing from a nearby house. He paused to give thought to how and why such a child would sing those words, and then left his garden and returned to his own home. There he picked up a book written by the Apostle Paul, which contained the epistle to the Romans, and opened it and instantly read. So that on Romans 13 and 14. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh in concupiscence. I forgot to look at concupiscence, what it means. Do you know, Colin, Yvonne?
Yes, to do with sexual activity.
Okay. Thank you. Come on, you can do it. Yes. So Saint Augustine is one of the spirits that helped with the Spiritist codification. He helped Allan Kardec on the Book of Spirits. So on question 919, at the end of each day, I examined my conscience, reviewed what I had done, and asked myself whether or not I had failed to fulfill some duty, or whether or not anyone had reason to complain about me. We studied that, I believe, earlier on the chapters. It was thus that I arrived at knowing myself and in seeing what there was in me that needed to be reformed. Those who every night would recall all their actions during the day and would ask themselves what good or evil they had done would acquire great strength for self-improvement. Examine what you may have done against God, then against your neighbor, and lastly, against yourselves. The answer will be either repose for your conscience or an indication of a wrong that you must amend. Self-knowledge is therefore the key to individual improvement. So yeah, he was a very adept of self-knowledge and try to get that done daily. That's what you try to pass on to us, to do the same so that we can know ourselves better. Any comments on St. Augustine? Okay. So now we go to Francis of Assisi. So Francis of Assisi was born in 1182, son of Pietro Bernardone, a wealthy cloth merchant and of central Italy. Of his mother Pica, little is known, but she is said to have belonged to a noble family in Provence. So Pietro's worldly success had secured for the young Francis a carefree life of material comfort. Francis was a popular youth, often the center of attention, who could be found engaged in sport, frequenting the piazza of the city, or confidently serenading the young women of Assisi. Francis eagerly sought the glory and honor of battle in 1201. He joined the war with Assisi's rival, Perugia. After an abrupt defeat, he spent nearly a year as a prisoner while his father raised the money to pay his ransom.
Vai dormir aqui?
Não.
In 1205, he again tried to outfit himself as a knight, but after suffering another illness, he had a vision that marked the beginning of his conversion. He was 23 years old. Born of a crisis of human understanding, his search for inner peace and new direction put Francis on the road to conversion. So he returned to Assisi, where his initial depression soon became an emotional crisis. His evident dissatisfaction with the material comforts of his life frustrated his father, particularly as Francis spontaneously began to share his family's wealth with the poor. So yeah, he had an existential crisis, let us say, and started to see that all of his benefits and all his wealth didn't amount of anything, and that the only matter in his life was to help others. So that's what he tried to do. So the spirit, Manuel Filomeno de Miranda, dictated to the medium Divaldo Pereira Franco this prayer of the spirit of Francis of Assisi. Sublime Master Jesus, make us understand your will and not ours, rendering yourselves to your strong hands to lead us. Allow us to carry out the duties that were assigned to us, but not according to our desires. Cast your gaze upon us, so that we may have the clarity of your tenderness and not the shadows of our ignorance. Bless our purpose to serve you when we have only concerned ourselves with using your holy name to serve us. Involve us in the sanctification of your projects so that we may be you in us, because we still have no possibility to be in you. Subdue our desires for power and pleasure, sustaining us in the real achievement of renunciation and selflessness. Help us in understanding our labors, sustaining us in our difficulties, and assisting us when we find ourselves immersed in a mortal cell. Bestow upon us the gift of your peace, so that we may distribute it whenever we go, and all may identify it, understanding that we are thy dedicated servants. And because death restored to us the glorious life, so that we may continue through the path of enlightenment, grace us with your wisdom for our prosperous journey to ascension, even if it means dipping often in the shadows of matter. However, we will have with us the compass of your kind heart, pointing us in the right direction. Lord, intercede with us. We intercede with the all-loving Father for your brethren in the rear guard, who are almost all of us the apostates of duty. So yeah, his contributions to Spiritism and to the Catholic Church itself, or the Catholicism, was great. Hey, Jackson, you came in.
He's here.
So it was a great helping knowledge, and in the ways of the self-knowledge that we have today. So now it's time for us, to apply the cognitive therapy in your life to begin to internalize the lessons you learned in this course. Remember, we're talking about starting with baby steps. We don't need to start running already. We can start always with baby steps. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Come on. So let us practice eliminating the automatic negative thoughts and tendencies that hold us back. Automatic negative thoughts will crawl into our brain if we allow them to, and diminish our willpower, jeopardizing our chances of success. So we have to pray and, what is it called? we have to be aware and pray, be aware of our surroundings, our thoughts, our actions, and pray for our success. So henceforth, the idea is to fix on one thing at a time. Little things can lead to big things, and good can lead to great. Whether it's becoming less selfish, developing more compassion, or even becoming less attached to material things, it can be daunting, almost paralyzing, to focus on the final goal. It can feel like a destination you can never possibly reach. With that perspective, almost anyone will give up before they begin. The only thing it takes is the one thing everybody has the power to do: commit, start the journey. What's the one thing you will commit to do this week? Good sentiments are encouraged, stimulated, and honored today more than at on any other time. As you embark on your personal recreation process, you will realize that you are not alone. There are many people already seeking after a more comprehensive and spiritual way to live their lives. But it will still be up to you, to us, to come up with our own roadmap. And we are going to have to keep walking until we reach the objective. No one except probably God knows what we need more and what we have in our consciousness that needs to be changed, updated, or worked on. So we may be able to find shortcuts along the way, but we're still going to have to start, and we're still going to have to keep going until we reach the objective. And you'll be surprised to meet your new companions on this road, and you can count on us among them. May bless you all on this incredible journey. And I think that's it. No, there's more. So yeah, just they are saying there for us to just go for everything that we've been through, all these studies. We have to make sure that we at least remember them and try to use them in our lives. Better to use it daily, but if we can improve one thing at a time, it's always great whenever we can. Do that self-analysis at the end of the day or at the end of the week, see where we fell short, see where we are good, to start to be great. And yeah, so always try to get all that wisdom and the words that we read, that we listen, and try to apply in our lives. And that's it, people. That's the end of our second stage of studies. Anyone have any comments?
Alex, can we go through and read the last slide, please?
We can.
Yes, thank you.
So there's a big difference between knowing and doing. Nearly everybody knows, but just a few do. In general terms, all religious teach goodness. All of them have assistants, believers, and disseminators. However, their apostles are becoming more and more rare. There are always voices indicating the pathway. They transmit to us the words of those who know. Very rare are those who courageously go forward in the daily struggle. Many times they are left in silence, abandoned, and misunderstood. This is the supreme trial of those who do. Jesus understood the vacillation of the children of earth and transmitted to them the words of the truth and life, producing a maximum exemplification through arduous sacrifice. The existence of an elevated theory creates the necessity of experience and work. If an edifying action was unnecessary, then the most humble theory of goodness would be fruitless. John observed the Master's teachings with wisdom, telling us in the verse that only those who practice Jesus' teachings can be blessed. Here, in the Christian service, resides the difference between culture and practice, and knowing and doing. So we have to be the champions of Jesus, the champions of God, and transfer our knowledge forward and champion our knowledge and use it daily, so that we can be better and transform our surroundings to a better place. Any comments? Any suggestions?
Excuse me, may I make a question actually?
Yeah.
Instead of so in this the path of our self-awareness, our improvements in our actions, like that's exactly what it says, knowing and doing. So like we know what is good to know you need to be a good person, but are you in the end of the day making mistakes and making people upsetting people? That's the question I want to ask is about if there are any tools to help us meditate on this, that we could daily meditate and say, okay, this is where I can improve, or just meditate for our own growth. Because I'm coming a bit late in the game, and I was wondering if the group already has these tools and if this could be shared in a WhatsApp group. If there is any meditation practice, a video or something that can be followed.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the moment, there is nothing, apart from the meditations we do in this group itself on Tuesdays, but like something that a person can do individually daily. Is there anything anyone has ever brought that up, or not really?
One important thing that's very good is to do like we talked about was St. Augustine. I think that at the end of the day, you would go through the actions that you did during the day or during the week, if you do a weekly, and then you can ponder on it and think to yourself, like, was that a good action, or that action helped a lot of people, or I did that just because that would be one thing. Anyone have any other?
I think I understand where you're coming from, Roberta, with your question. I don't think we have like a step by step per se about if you do this, and that, you're going to achieve. I think it's a compilation of actions that we go through our lives, of self-awareness, and like little things that we learn through our lives. For example, what Santa used to do, like review his days, his actions, and then ponder like what he did. Was he happy about it? I think like not always started, but the big one that could be as a guide as well is that say that Jesus told us, love God above all and love your brothers and sisters as yourself, that help us to guide our actions towards others. I think all those little things that we learn on every day, on every meeting, on every book, not only Spiritism, but like anything that brings this self-awareness to us, help us grow. But there is no thing that I can say for you. If you do like those 10 steps, you achieve it. Like, of course, it's a guideline, but I think it's an everyday work from my point of view of, I was happy with that, the way that I treat that person. Should I have shouted in the traffic today? Should I have said that word to my coworker? It's those little things, like, and all that awareness when we are really there shows your growth, like spiritually speaking, on a sense. Maybe it's that perhaps this is your first life that you at least stop and contemplate your actions with the awareness of, I was right on that statement. I was proud of that action, So those little things build this base and are those steps for us to, keep growing our spirit. It's not something that, unfortunately, it's not something that we're going to put together 10 steps and that's going to there are guidelines, meditations that help you to be self-aware. But for me, I think it's more about these little things, like the things that we talked today, a book that you read and then touch you. For example, I was very touched after I read Poe and Stephen. So it was something that really kind of make a big impression on me. So it's those kind of things, sometimes I cannot say I have the most clean mouth because I swear a bit, but sometimes I change the way that I swear because that kind of words have power. So sometimes I am at work and son of a blessed mother, It's those kinds of little things that I strongly believe that build and help us to transform us. And with time and with practice, for example, for myself, the swearing part of it, I changed the way that I kind of, complain about things. Well, you're son of a blessed mother. And now I kind of laugh about it because there is no more power on kind of really be angry with that person. Because by the time I have to be aware of not put that energy on something that I'm not happy about it, I'm already laughing because I changed the way that I complain about the situation. So that's I would say that's my 2 cents about it. Not sure if it makes sense to you, but
Well, I'm happy with the answer. Thank you so much, Dai. Yeah, so this is something I've been doing, but I was wondering if there's anything else to help us meditate more like, yeah. But in this sense, I'm very happy with your answer because
Yeah.
that's what I've been trying to do. So
yeah,
yeah,
there's
that
a
makes me
lot of
happy.
guidelines. For example, there's those gratitude things, like for example, wake up or by the end of the day, tell 5 things you're grateful for. Those little things that bring the awareness to us. Like there is heaps of things but it's more about bring the awareness, and then we'll become part of yourself. So then you don't have to meditate. Think about 5 things you're grateful for your day, because we become natural to you. You be grateful for anything,
Yeah,
But there are
automatic.
it's all tools that help you transform, and just like muscle memory. Then you're just so aware. You're not even doing like because it's a mechanic thing. It's just part of you. You're aware of your gratitude. You're aware of sending good vibes for people that kind of piss you off during work, that kind of stuff. It's just like part of a very complex net of actions that you need to take. But as Alex was pointed out, every little step, every little thing that you kind of step up and transform in yourself, it will become that net more easy to navigate. And sorry, I think I step on Colleen's and Yvonne's turn. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You go, girls.
Colleen? It's
It's
muted.
muted.
Still muted.
No, you are always good, Di. Please don't apologize. It is I who so often take up the playtime. Yes. I wanted Roberta to add to that. As Di said, it is about acknowledging your spiritual connection to life. We are not separate beings, our body, mind, and spirit. We are one. But in the morning when you wake, you jump out of bed and engage your intellect and your mind. And you go, oh my God, I need to do this, this, and this. And you engage on that level rather than taking a breath and releasing the need to control your day and to invite the blessed spirit of life to incorporate with you and to guide you. So the blessed prayer of, I ask this day that the spirit of love guide me, and for me not to take control with my intellect and my ego, but to be made aware and conscious of how love can be exemplified. And breathing in and out. The Aramaic word for Holy Spirit is Ruha.
Luha.
And Ruha means breath. The breath of life, the breath of the universe. There is no Holy Spirit that is a separate entity. This was created later by the church. But Ruha. And when you actually breathe in the breath of all that is, of love, and allow that to guide and to quieten your mind. So often we go, I need to fix this. I need to, even with St. Augustine's suggestion, we go through our day and we intellectualize our connections to all those that we have met. We go, yep, I did that. That didn't go so badly. Yep, I can't see I did much wrong there. And I could have done much better, rather than to breathe and to allow inspiration to guide your wisdom. Not knowledge, but your wisdom, to guide it. Not your intellect. Your intellect, when your intellect engages, your mind is running 10 to the dozen. There is no space for ruach.
Mhm.
There is no space for divine connection. It is in that silence when we breathe and sense our breath filling our bodies, feeding our human existence in and out, and letting go of the need to check things off, but to sit gently and allow for that grace to wash over us. And in those moments, allow for the messages to come through. And this is why throughout all of the organized and not so organized traditions, spiritual traditions of the world, throughout history, there is such an emphasis on breath, because breath silences your mind and allows you to connect with your divine light. And in this is why so many meditations are so crammed with talking that we do not have time to connect with spirit, because we are visiting and busy following some path up some staircase and on some astral travel somewhere, rather than sitting gently and allowing God to speak. We follow the visualization, and there's no time and no space, no grace for love. So the practice of prayer is so important. When we did the presentation on prayer, it is in the gospel according to Spiritism. I can't remember whether it was St. Augustine who said, prayer is a step towards communication with God. It is a step towards, because most times when we pray, we're emptying our souls out. We're emptying it out. I have this to talk about, and this is troubling me, and this and this and this and this and this and this, and slowly we empty. And then when we finish our prayer, then we need to sit in the spirit of grace and in quietude, because it is only in those moments that inspiration can come. Inspiration, divine guidance, connection with all things that are what we call the universe, the cosmic place. Everything that is. Because in that prayer, we have communicated, yes, but we have communicated all our material concerns. Once that is complete, then we say, yes, now I am ready to listen. And this requires for quietude. For me, quietude is my life. And so I sit, and it is so easy for me to say this is easy for you to do it, but because I am incapacitated physically, it is a gift because I am not distracted. And so the divine light is shown to me in and all through everything, through the light of love. So everything that we see as good and bad, ugly and beautiful, all of that duality dissolves because there is quietude. The Dalai Lama also says this. He says, I do not meditate so much because there is no need. Once we get past the material focus on life, once we get past getting dragged into the drama, getting dragged into attachment to outcomes, we release it and we sit in ourselves in a beautiful quietude. This does not mean that we do not engage, but we engage in a quietness where Ruha, the spirit of all things, sits gently in and around. Yes, it is a practice. But once we recognize that Ruha is everything that is and in all things, then everything is blessed. And the mentalization is not necessary because we are automatically in that phase of not talking badly. We see God in all things. So we do not detract from another by talking badly about another. We do not sit impatiently. We know that we are where we are meant to be for a good reason. And then we start to see clearly. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Beautiful advice. Yeah, very emotional even. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments, any hints? Right, I'm gonna stop recording.